As a longtime Star Wars fan, I long for a quality Star Wars gaming experience, especially after the Disney takeover, shutdown of the legendary LucasArts, and the cancellation of promising games like 1313, Rogue Squadron 4, First Assault, Imperial Commando, Shadows of the Sith, and brutally looking Darth Maul game. On the other hand, as a Dark Souls fan, I always wanted to have a Souls-like game with greater focus on the story and storytelling itself. So judging by the look of things, this game must be a real match from heaven, right? Well, let's see. Tons of details from the first sequence as the camera flies between Star Destroyers that are getting deconstructed on the planet's surface, and then it goes to our character, showing the scale of things. The entire first level is such a showcase mixed with the basic gameplay and bombastic animated platforming sequences, plus an intriguing storytelling, which would be the perfect summary of the game, if it didn't slow down right from the next level.
May the Force be with you.
Now, to be fair, it's a nice contrast and a real refreshment after the dark and action-packed intro. Bogano is beautiful open level that should be a heaven to explore, except it isn't really. Paths are always one or two, with many unreachable areas when you explore deeper. It is a bit of a downer, but on the third level on Zepho, the game picks up again. To be honest, there are many such pacing issues throughout the game.
Visitation is not permitted. You cannot escape.
Structurally, as a single player, the game is extremely basic, and that's what I expected, unfortunately, given the fact that it's designed to appeal to the casual audience. It's a constant journey from point A to B. Even twists that happen do not change that really.
Cal Kestis. Surrender now, and we may spare the youngest. That's right. On your knees.
Yes, there are few exploration opportunities, but as soon as you're aware that some of them are unreachable, it's questionable will you ever bother to try in the first place. Especially if you don't care about the cosmetic upgrades, because that's mainly what you get. Compared to other single player games, rewards are trash. I rarely use that word when criticizing, but it's true. The only things with actual impact are XP levels that you can use for the new skills and force abilities, and the health canisters that will help your survival.
We found the Jedi! He's got quick blocks! Move up already! Smash him! I've got him! Yeah! We're gonna make you pay! I thought I'd be the last one standing!
We could even criticize the force powers that are mostly basic, but given the fact that our character is a newbie and not even a Jedi Knight, it does make sense from the story perspective. So don't expect to use Force Lightning to hurl bunch of rocks at the enemies or to crush ships with your bare hands. This isn't that type of Star Wars game. Jedi Fallen Order is much more grounded, and when you accept it as it is, it does play out just fine.
Leave, Herman! Cannot hide your weakness! Not bad for trash!
What about for a Jedi?
Is there a difference?
What elevates the game and pushes you to the boring parts is the story. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's told well and at least tells enough to keep you interested.
Spread themselves too thin. This map we recovered proves it.
Here you go, bud.
We finally get some quality canon storytelling. It goes in detail on topics like psychology, traumatic events, dealing with loss, dealing with consequences, and other heavy stuff.
Move out and line up.
Find your destiny. Calico!
You were talking in your sleep. Weirdo.
It also goes where the juicy parts for the most fans are. Behind the Imperial curtains, where Vader walks by, where Inquisitors were born. What makes it all good though are the characters. Each of them has a personality and a backstory to discover.
Okay, shut that thing off and...
Most interesting are Seer and the main Inquisitor. Cole Kestis, despite being the player character, isn't really as interesting, though even he manages to grab a sympathy from the player. That's partially because of the acting and visual animations, which are fantastic.
Like you said, Trilla, I'm persistent.
Keep slipping away.
Jedi hit.
Get the target.
Even the side characters are felt alive and will engage you without even expecting it. The only single blunder is the design of Seer's face. I mean, really, what's up with that?
Holocron.
Are you sure it's something you should find?
What do you mean?
The children on that list. If you take them from their homes to train as Jedi, won't they be hunted like you?
It has to be kept out of the hands of the Empire.
It'll help us put an end to the Empire.
Oh, hey, change of plans, we're arriving.
Oh, Grease.
Yeah?
I take my steak rare.
Huh? Okay, now we're cooking.
Failure's not the end, my friend.
As a companion droid, BD-1 is alright. He's not like Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite, but does have a certain personality and serves as a handy gadget just right. Some fans even went so far to name him the cutest new Star Wars character. But I wouldn't go that far. With that, let's look at the gameplay. Let's start with the most interesting aspect of it, the fighting. To summarize the fight, in any encounter you have the following options: block or attack, use the force or dodge the enemy. That's all about it, really. And when the enemy uses its power attack, which is often because they don't have anything other up their sleeves, the block goes out of the water. You could use the force, but if you're empty, then you only have one option, really. Plus, the hitbox systems suck. So if you're here for the accuracy, bad luck.
Okay.
The game has a clear focus on animation and the presentation more than the gameplay itself, and that's where it suffers. It's still fun and engaging, but for the comparison, it's only like the poor man's Dark Souls, really. I mean, that's fine, but it is what it is.
Take that, Jedi! Hey!
Hey, bud. Stim.
The other kind of strange aspect of the game is the movement and platforming. If I'd want to add Lara Croft or Nathan Drake type of character into Star Wars, I'd choose a smuggler or Imperial agent, not a Jedi.
Reckless cow.
Good to see you.
You too. Don't get yourself killed.
That's the idea.
But it's what we got, and it's actually by far the biggest part of the game. Sometimes it just seems to me that someone took what had remained of a cancelled Star Wars 1313 project and made it into a Jedi game. Despite exploration and tutorial features of the game, there are still many mechanics of the game not mentioned to player at all, which resulted in some facepalming moments after going in circles searching for a solution and being frustrated only to accidentally realize, what? I can do that? I didn't know I could do that.
We're done. Get on up here.
Lastly, if you're in this game just for the gameplay, then you might be disappointed. This game is driven by animations that you cannot skip. Hell, even the intro of the menu cannot be skipped.
Going somewhere? I recognize that stance. Perhaps you've had some training after all. Who's your master, Padawan? Someone I killed, perhaps? What Jedi gave their life so that you might live?
It's really a slow burn in that way. However, if you're in this for the story, nice animations and numerous puzzles though, then this could be your cup of tea.
Whoa! Close one. Call's getting stronger. Let's hurry.
The game took a lesson from both the movies and the series where the visuals are concerned and looks absolutely stunning. There are some truly amazing moments that will stay in your memory after you're finished with the game. The backdrop of this, however, is the high ambition in that regard. The fact that there is no low graphical setting in the game and the serious lack of polish that is evident every few steps.
Oh no! Need cover! Now! Gotta move in between bursts. We shot the coupling out. Gotta get down! Ah! Ah! Oh, no, no!
It seems that no matter how strong computer you have, the game will still stutter every now and then, which is very annoying, especially when going through high intensity adrenaline moments, making them anticlimactic. There are also glitches and bugs that happen, nothing game breaking, but the lack of polish and optimization is evident, even in the console versions. Yes, there are no loading screens in the game, except when starting it, but at what cost? Now you don't know when the game starts because it needs to load something or because it's just badly optimized. The studio and the publisher clearly got too ambitious and it backfired. sounds in the game are great, the soundtrack less so, but it still does its job despite looking like a movie score on a budget.
I'm tracking him.
Oh, look, he's scared.
Come on, fire!
Confirmed. Oh no, now he looks mad. Killing us. Don't let him do that again. I'm sure we'll beat you.
He's dodging.
Impact. Look, down there.
Aside from the odd human faces here and there, the game is truly visually stunning.
The door controls! Kyle, hurry!
Regarding the playability aspect, I think this game is best played now. It's very one and done type of game and will only get worse as the time goes by. It's extremely dependent on the current trends and the replayability value is almost none. The only possible reasons are either different difficulty or exploration for remaining rewards, but they suck anyway. And last thing you'll miss are the conditional backtrackings to the ship, another lazy way to artificially extend the longevity of the game. Sometimes it's justified by story progression, but nothing important, really. So it's clear it is made just to prolong the game. The most important thing I think is the content ratio, and for the most players it will make or break the experience. It is roughly 45% platforming, 20% action, and 35% story.
The game will double your pay for this shift.
My cow. What's a score? That couldn't hurt. Huh?
Okay.
All right, let's go.
You may call it Soul Wars, Star Sekiro or Starborn, but in reality Jedi Fallen Order is much more Uncharted Wars and Star Raider than any of this.
We will always struggle. But that is the test. It's the choice to keep fighting that makes us who we are.
Hang on.
You're in a rush.
Master T'Pol's called me for training.
You got this, kid.
Hang on!
What we have here is an engaging action adventure with quality storytelling and a quality canon material. Free of microtransactions, social agendas, and other infamous aspects that plague video games and other these days. Jedi The Fallen Order is nowhere near a masterpiece, you could even argue that it's a great game, but after so many years, we finally got a pretty good Star Wars game, and that's where it counts. For more Star Wars and games, keep it up to the core.